When we speak of pollen, most people immediately think of allergies. But can you imagine that pollen is also a remedy? There are two different types of pollen, bee pollen and flower pollen. Bee pollen is more widely known. Now you have to imagine how they are produced. Tight, meshed grids are placed in front of the hive. The bees have to slip through these tight wire meshes, and the pollen, which are on the feet or the legs of the bees, and will then have to be stripped off there. This is how to produce bee pollen. The great news is, it is very natural. But the bad news is, we do not know where the bees got the pollen. Were they on trees or plants sprayed with pesticides? And if so, do they carry these pesticides into the final product of bee pollen? That is why there is also pollen from flowers. And they are produced in large bioorganic fields. For example, rye or corn fields. And then, when the plants are in bloom, these pollen are collected with large vacuum cleaners over the fields, and the pollen gets sucked up. That's how flower pollen is produced, and there you have the guarantee that they are not contaminated with pesticides. Let me explain what pollen looks like in a drawing. This is pollen, round like a marble, and on the edge, the pollen has many spikes. A circle with spikes, pretty simple, and this pollen coat causes allergies. And when this pollen, with its spikes, gets into the lungs and the nasal mucosa, it triggers allergies, and that is why people are afraid of pollen products. But now the pollen inside has the pollen content. Only that is used. This whole pollen cover with all of these spikes and allergizing elements on it are removed during production. What is in this pollen content? First of all, vitamins. All of them. By this I mean vitamin A, the whole B complex, C, vitamin D, E. All the vitamins are in here. Minerals, sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium. Trace elements copper, chromium, manganese, silicon, and selenium. It's all in here. Unbelievable the content of pollen. Unbelievable the content of the pollen. Amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. All in there. Very many fatty acids, very many enzymes, phytochemicals. There is nothing in the world as compact and powerful as flower pollen. Really, everything a person needs for a healthy life is in there. When we supplement with capsules, for example, the problem is that the individual substances are in very small doses. It is actually the most comprehensive polyvitamin that we can consume, but to really get enough of each substance, the doses would have to be very high. Where can pollen be used therapeutically? It is not considered as a specific treatment method for a specific disease. From the composition, we can see that pollen is a universal agent, without specific fields of application. I recommend it as a strengthener and substitute for other synthetic vitamins, where it also helps, and this is interesting, with allergies. It has an anti-allergic effect when the pollen coat is removed during production, and where it also has an effect is in the prostate complaints. It is not very impressive, but it can ease prostate discomfort, be it a normal prostate enlargement or a mild inflammation. These are the areas of application where I have already seen good results and where I can recommend it. We have summarized the topic of pollen in the link below to a website, integrativemedicin.info. There you will find a professionally compiled article on flower pollen. You can download it.